بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم Lillahi tabaraka wa ta'ala. Inshallah ta'ala, we reached up to page. Heck, I lost my page. Oh, I forgot the page. What page was it?
Page 14.
Oh, hold on, it's typing. We reached up to page 14, inshallah. I want to say something. Please get this. This is my objective. All right. So you can get my mindset, right? Maybe so you get to understand me, right? Why I'm doing the stuff I'm doing. Number one, I look at what I went through trying to learn Islam. I reflect on that. I have 41 years of experience trying to learn the deen. 41 years. I started young and I was engaged at a young age, right? So I've seen a lot in our communities. And I've seen the results of a lot of things. I had the fortune of going abroad and traveling in the Muslim world, and I've seen a lot in various countries. And in America, I've traveled the country, and I've seen a lot. So I have many things to compare and look at, right? Because I've seen different things, a whole lot, right? So I can weigh things. I have some scales, right? I can look at this and say yes, because I've seen different things. I've experienced different things. And from that, I always think, what can I do so someone doesn't have to repeat my mistakes, right? How can I help you get it right in the beginning to the best of my ability, right? What can I do to make sure you don't have to do this, like, how they say, recreate the wheel, as a figure of speech? We'll do the same thing and get the same results. How can we move this along? So in thinking about that, I take all that experience and I try to convey it to those of us who haven't had that experience, and to show them things they wouldn't normally see on their own, with the intention that the path will be easier and made clear. Y'all follow me? That's my intention. That hopefully succeeding generations from our work won't be where we're at. And they can engage at a higher level and produce better results. This is not about us. I honestly believe we don't have enough time for us. Our hope is to die as good Muslims, having left some beneficial roadmaps for the future generations. I don't believe we're the people that's going to do it. We don't have the time, right? But we do have the time to lay a nice foundation or to plant some good seeds. But in terms of us actually doing it, we don't have the time. We're too old. That's just real, because I know what it takes, right? But that doesn't mean we don't have an important role to play. You know, our biggest role, I believe, to me, is us learning that we must support the effort. Seriously. And I should put this. I'm going to put it up. We need to support. That's our role. Because we're not going to do the work. Our biggest thing that we can do is learn the importance of supporting and do it. That's one of the biggest things we can do. You know, like, you saw that Malcolm X movie and the Spike Lee joint, and the lady came in and she asked Malcolm X, "What can I do?" He was like, nothing. I ain't saying, and you saw her face. She was like, "What you mean? There's nothing you could do," right? But in terms of the work, we're not going to do that. What we can do is learn and then realize the necessity of our support for the work that needs to be done. We need to learn, right? So we will learn. Then the second stage is, from our learning, we will see the necessity of supporting, right? We'll see that necessity, and then we should do that. And build institutions that will produce the result we hope for. And I used to be shy, right? I used to be shy when it came to requesting our support. But I've come to realize that that's a mistake, right? I've come to realize that that's a mistake, right? I've come to realize that that is a mistake. What is the mistake? To be shy, to tell us we need to support. Because if we're ever going to get where we need, we're going to have to dedicate people to that. You can't do nothing else. I sit in the masjid and I sit in the library, and me and Sheikh Abdulaziz, we talk about this all the time. Because, listen, Habibi, the work we got to do, you can't play around. We was talking about getting married, once a wife. And I said, listen, man, don't get the wrong wife. Don't just rush to say, I want to be married, and pick the wrong woman. Don't do that. It will ruin everything we work for. And he was looking, I'm like, listen, he understands, because he knows what we have to do, because we sent him and experienced it, right? Right? But if you pick the wrong woman, or the woman who's in this path picks the wrong man, it's over. If the woman who's engaged in seeking knowledge, or the man who's engaged in seeking knowledge, don't have a comparative spouse, that is a disaster waiting to happen. You need someone who is engaged too for the work that needs to be done. Just the research alone, just the research alone, will take you a minimum real research of 12 to 16 hours every single day. Just the research, right? It's easy for us to just ask questions, and we expect that answers are going to come. We never take into consideration, I have this question, how much time does it take the teacher or the imam or the scholar who is responsible, how long does it take them to research that answer? How long does it take? We never think about it. Just we ask question and we expect an answer. And if he can give you an answer like that, he or she, how long did it take them to acquire the necessary knowledge to answer like that? We never take that part into consideration, right? We don't think about it. It's work. It's a lot of work. And we need people dedicated to that work. If we're serious, we need people dedicated to that work. It's a lifetime work. If we're going to reach another level, all of you know, for the dunya, how much work you put in. You want to get a field, a career. You're trying to get a good pay. That's the end of it. That's what most of us doing. We want to get a good paying job. How much time do you put in for that? How much money is spent on you acquiring the necessary qualifications to do that job you're talking about? Prior to doing the job, how much money is spent? I'll tell you. Take any field you want to study, a professional field, right? What's your college debt if you don't get a scholarship? What's the average college debt for someone to go to the level of qualification in any field? What is the average debt when they finish they're going to have? Y'all study, I know there's a lot of you educated people here. What's the average debt? Come on, help me out. 80,000? Come on, I know we got some master's degrees and PhDs. Come on, how much is the debt? Doc, come on, help me out. Time to use your expertise. 200, 300,000. You see these numbers? This is all for dunya. This is all for the world. Why it costs so much? Did you ever ask that? Why does it cost so much? Why it costs so much? Why is education and qualifications so expensive? And all of us realize the necessity of this. But when it comes for our hereafter, for our deen, which is the most important thing in our life, there's nothing more important than success on the day of judgment, which is its means is the deen. Why, when it comes to the deen, we don't see that? And I'm not saying those numbers, not even half are we realizing that we need to invest. And guess what? To reach the Islamic level that we need, it's going to cost more than that. Far more than that. Or we're going to have a bunch of unqualified people. Right? I want to share something with you so you get an idea. You see these numbers? All these numbers you put up? Our library costs more than that. Did you hear what I just said? The research materials that we need cost more than what you're talking about. Just the research materials. What we need, the books we need to do the research, cost more than that. Now you got a picture? The books that we need to research cost more than what you're talking about. Just the research material costs more than that. What about the actual study itself? Something to think about. I'm just mentioning that because that's the part we don't get. And that's because we don't understand what it takes. We have no clue. So part of me mentioning what I mentioned is that ultimately we get to the result so we can actually do what needs to be done for future generations, especially in the Black community, especially in the African American community. Is extremely important. It's important in every community, no doubt. But especially in the African American community, how much money you think it takes to do the translation of this book that we're reading? So you have this revival. I have Arabic copy, which is much cheaper, right? How much did we pay for that book? Do we remember? The book we're reading right now, how much did it cost? Does anyone remember? I'm walking us through this. How much did it cost? $80-something, right? How much do you think in money it went in to produce that book? From start, from idea to publication. How much you think was spent on that book? You read the book, you see the quality, you see the level, you see all that. In your mind, how much do you think went into it? Farouk, wholesale would suggest the resale is irrelevant because most people have to go retail. We're not wise enough to come together to, when I say wise enough, we don't think like that collectively, to come together and spend everything wholesale. We would really be in a good condition if we learned that. That's a whole nother level. So for us, we're too selfish to think wholesale as a group. So all of us are suggested retail, right? So don't even consider that. No. I'm talking about actual. We got to be realization. The translator, how much money do you think he put into it or had to earn or fundraise or whatever he did to produce such a work? How much money from start to finish? How much money you think it was about? Islam Muhammad says 200 times effort researching. Roughly, give me a number. I'm trying to make us think. How much you think went into it? How much money, value? I want a rough value figure to produce this. If you took effort, Selena says around 500,000. What do y'all think? Give me some ideas. Come on, engage me. This stuff is important because we're talking as a community. So we need to have some idea of what we're doing. It's important. It's knowledge. Trust me. Because we need works like this for the various Islamic sciences. I don't care. Give me an idea. You can go from a publisher's perspective. Farouk, you can show me how smart you is. I don't care. You can get it down as cheap as you can get it down. Give me an idea. Give me an idea. Because we need to think like this. This is serious. This is part of reviving religious sciences to realize what we're dealing with. Mizan said 300,000. Give me some ideas. So we got 5, we got 3. What is the minimum? Let's make this easier. What is the minimum you think amount of money was spent to produce this book? The minimum in time and effort, the minimum. All right. $3,453. What is the name of that stuff you smoking? Oh my goodness. What's Farouk? I'm gonna let you down. I'm gonna put you down. That's not even laughable. I'm telling you, I guarantee you, the minimum amount that was spent on this project is not under $50,000. I guarantee you. The minimum, that's for one book. The minimum amount. I'm talking about the minimum. And that's miraculous. That's assuming the translator didn't get paid for nothing. He did it for free. Just the minimum, the copies, the quality, typesetting, proofreading, editing, the minimum that was spent on this project, at minimum, and that's a miracle, was $50,000. And I know that's not true. That's the minimum that could have possibly been spent on that project to produce this book. The minimum. The minimum. You see how much, that's just for one book, one quality book. So imagine what it takes to do what we need to do. You get my point? Are y'all following me? You're following me? It's important. Now, that's someone else doing it for us, right? Now we have to do it. So before we get to that point, we got to produce people who have the skill set to do the work. And getting that level of skill set is that educational fund you're talking about that leave you with debt of 100, 200,000 to get the person who's qualified to translate. Just to get that person. We got to produce the person. So that person needs to know Arabic and English to do the work, let alone the work itself. We got to produce the person that has the qualifications to do the work. You see how much money we need? So don't just look at it like, oh, what they're going to do with their money. If we're serious, we don't have enough money or time, but we got to start. All right. I think y'all got my point. So that's what I'm trying to do. Where's Imam Naim? Is he here? Imam Naim is here? Maybe he retired. Okay, let us take this down. Let us get started. That's the mission I'm on. And I need your help. Serious, I'm on a serious mission. It's not easy. That's what we're trying to do with the Black Round. This is what we're trying to do. And I would like to leave the next generation in a position where they can actually continue this effort and actually be ahead of the game. They have to be better than us, really, because no one's going to do it for us. It's not going to happen. If we don't realize our responsibility, no one's going to do it for us. They're not. They haven't, and they're not going to. So we have to do it. We have to realize our responsibility as adults. We have to realize as Muslim adults, we have to realize the needs of our community, and we have to fulfill those needs. It's our responsibility. No one's going to do it for us, period. And if we don't realize that, we are doing a disservice to ourselves and to future generations. We are doing a serious disservice. And trust me, we enjoy what we're doing. We do. Every morning we have it. It's free. It's available. It's not free. It always costs money. Somebody is paying. It may not just be me, but someone is paying. Nothing is free. Even if we dilute it to think it's free, someone is paying a physical cost. Some families are paying. Somebody's paying for this. Somewhere along the line, it's not free. And we have to get out of that mentality, right? We have to get out of the mentality that it doesn't cost me anything. Yes, it does. It costs you something. It's not free, even if it's free to you, because the quality of instruction you're getting is depending upon what you're putting into it. So if you don't put anything, then you get inferior education. You don't pay, you get inferior education. So you're paying with inferior education. So why don't you invest in yourself? And this is real if we're serious, right? All right, let's move on. Because I wanted to highlight that point. And share it. Press the share button. Because we have to, and listen, we have to realize what we have to do. I'm telling you, if I had 5 researchers, just 5, I know what's needed. I need at least 5 researchers, right? Their job is just to research. A team of researchers for Islamic studies and books, but they need to be full-time. 8 hours a day, minimum, of researching in all 4 madhabs, and in Aqidah, and in Hadith, and Usul al-Fiqh, and Tasawwuf. Give me a number. How much you think I need to pay these people? 8 hours a day, at least 5 days a week, full-time research. How much I need to pay them? I need at least 5. One person can't do it, 2 people, 3 people. I need at least 5 to do the work we need to do. For where we want to get, I need 5 researchers, qualified researchers. African Americans as well, because they need to know who they're researching for. They need to understand the people they're researching for. How much you think that I need to pay them? Tell me. How much you think I need to pay those 5 qualified researchers? What's the salary? 8 days a week, and it's an ongoing job. Stacy says, Haja Stacy, she says 60 to 75 each starting salary. No, it's serious. Help me out here. Give me some numbers. 5,000 per month, that's 60,000. That's where she's at. Okay, Dr. Sabir, 60 to 80. Come on, someone give me some ideas. 2K a week. That's 8,000. So you're talking about 96,000 a year. All 4 madhabs, yes. Well, we're talking about serious, Farouk. Forget. I mean, the Wahhabi. That's going to be, once we learn properly, we don't got to worry about the bad stuff. Okay, now let me ask you a question. All of y'all realize that at minimum 60, and you're saying up to 100,000, right? So we're talking about, at minimum, we need for salaries 30,000, 300,000 a year, up to 600,000. From 300 to 600,000 a year in salaries just for research. If we're serious, because we always talk about, we got to do our own thing. Okay, do your own thing. That's what it costs. To do your own thing. Are we serious or are we just talking? Now we got to actually think about how we're going to do that. Serious stuff, man. Serious stuff. That's why we need to fundraise. If we're ever going to be serious, and I ain't talking about all the other stuff we got to do. We're talking about with the work we already done. So we have the books already. We have what we need. We already did that work. Right? It's very important. So it's important. And guess what? One of the things that's disturbing to me, really for me, is that we don't realize what we're up against. And then we start saying we're losing our children and we don't have what we need and we got to count on somebody else and blah, 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 blah. That's us. But when we're asked to do the work, silence. But we complain. What you're complaining about, and you don't want to do the work. Don't complain if you're not going to work. Because you got to sacrifice. If you're serious, you have to sacrifice. Tayyip, let us read our section, inshallah. Sorry, reader, but there are some important concerns that relate to what we're trying to do. Go ahead. Bismillah. Fatiha to the soul of Imam al-Ghazali. Fatiha. Now,
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah. The author, may Allah Ta'ala have mercy on him, said, the praiseworthy measure of each type of knowledge. With this consideration in mind, knowledge can be said to be of 3 parts. One part is all blameworthy, another is all praiseworthy, and the third is praiseworthy only in its sufficient measure, i.e., it becomes blameworthy in excess and by delving too deeply into it.
Now,
As
so if we look at knowledge, we should start considering that too when we learn. How much do I need of each thing? How much do I need of this knowledge? How much I need of this science? How much do I need of this science? And what is it related to? Right? Because if I get what I need, I've made a benefit. If I go overboard, I've wasted time. Right? If I get what I need, I've done a benefit. If I go overboard, I've wasted time. And our life is our time. That's our capital by which we trade. So Imam Ghazali is pointing to us to know where we at and what we need of each thing. It's very important. Now,
As for that part which is all blameworthy, it consists of that which yields no benefit in this world or in the afterlife, for it contains harm which overwhelms its benefit, such as magic, talismans, and astrology.
so when you look at some knowledge, it's a waste of time. Why is it a waste of time? There's no benefit that comes from, no fa'ida. Fi dunya wal akhirah, in this world and the hereafter. Doing it and not doing it, it didn't make a difference. In fact, engaging in it is harmful because it will distract you from what is necessary. All of us in our lives need to look at that. So if you're learning something that's of no benefit, it's harmful now because it took you away from that which is beneficial. Now,
As for that part which is all praiseworthy, even if it is pursued to the point of thorough examination, it consists in the knowledge of Allah Ta'ala, exalted is He, His attributes, His acts, His universal laws, sunan, in His creation, and His wisdom in arranging the afterlife so that it comes first in importance to this world. This is because this type of knowledge is sought for its own sake as much as it is in order to attain felicity in the afterlife.
and here's the important thing. Whenever we get knowledge that increases our realization of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala and the importance of the akhirah over this dunya, that knowledge is always beneficial, right? And when it shows us what our priorities are, and then we function in according to those priorities, that knowledge is all benefit, no matter how much of it you have.
As for that knowledge of which only a sufficient measure of it is praiseworthy, it consists of all the types of knowledge which we have mentioned are propos, collective obligations.
Meaning they're from the side of Fard al-Kifaya. So once we get what we need of it, then no one is responsible. So that communal obligations that we what we have to do, that's extremely important. The amount of knowledge that we need for our communal obligations to be fulfilled. Once we get that amount, it's sufficient. Now we go back to fulfilling what we personally need. Now,
For in each science, one can be content with its general notions, which is the minimum, or seek what is beyond these, which is the moderate choice, or one can pursue its thorough examination, in which case one will find that it yields no benefit for the rest of one's lifespan. Therefore, be one of two people. Either be one who is preoccupied with himself, or one who is devoted to others after finishing with himself. Be, but beware of engaging in the reforming of others before reforming yourself.
very important lesson. Take care of yourself. Learn what you need to know, knowledge what you need to learn. Purify yourself inwardly and then outwardly. That's one. Next, go help others. Once you get yourself together, go help others, right? To the best that you can do. But beware of occupying yourself with the rectification of others while you remain a mess. Beware of that. That's a trick of the devil. And you notice Imam Ghazali mentions the aspect of others. It's not just about you. But you have to work on you, but you have to help others too. It's extremely important. Now,
If you are a person who is occupied with himself, only engage in that knowledge which is an individual obligation upon you according to the requirement of your state, and similarly in knowledge concerning the outward acts, such as learning how to pray and perform purification, tahara. However, the most important science that everyone has neglected is the science of the attributes of the heart, namely that which is praiseworthy and blameworthy.
because that's the root of it. If the heart is sound, then everything that comes from that will be sound. If the heart is corrupt and in bad state, then what's going to come is in the bad state. It's important, right? It's important. And that's the root of everything. That's why the Prophet ﷺ said that there is a piece of flesh in the body. If it is sound, the whole body is sound. If it's corrupt, the whole body is corrupt. He said, verily, it is the heart. Right? So that's the essence. That's the most important things. Because once the heart is in the right state, it's focused, it understands its direction, then outwardly you will see that manifesting. Now,
Therefore, do not engage in collective obligations, especially if there are others who take care of them. This is because the one who causes loss to himself through something which is a cause of reform for others is a fool. Once you finish with your soul in its purification, and you are able to abstain from inward and outward sinning, and how far away is this from you, then you can engage in collective obligations, and you can assume a priority in the type of collective obligations you engage in.
and here there's an important thing. Listen, and we'll stop there. There is a need that we have in our communities. And I know many of us, unfortunately, don't realize it, right? We are too much in the mode of what I need, right? What I need, which is a good thing that you take care of what you need. But in addition, remember, it's not only about you. I know you do need, but also everyone else needs too. Don't forget that. And we collectively have needs. Listen, please, 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 please listen. The African American Muslim community is on the brink of extinction. Hey, I'm going to repeat that. Please, someone type this. The African American Black Muslim community is on the brink of extinction. I don't know where you're sleeping that you don't realize it. I don't know what you're looking at that you don't realize it. But let me inform you. The African American Black Muslim community is on the brink of extinction. I'm telling you, we're in trouble. And if we keep sleeping, we're not going to wake up at all. African American Black-led masjids have declined over the last 10 years. African American Black Muslim participation in the masjid has declined over the last 10 years. Black Muslim leadership in America has declined over the last 10 years. Black African American Muslim youth engagement has declined over the last 10 years. Hey. Decline means you're going into extinction. You decline till you don't exist. You decline to the extent that you don't exist anymore. Hey, we have to reverse the trend. We need a revival of the Black Muslim community. So we said revival of the religious sciences, Ihyaa Ulumuddin, yes. We also need a revival of the African American Black Muslim community. It needs to be revived. It's on life support. This is serious business. Hey, I got babies. Some of you do too. I have little Black boys, babies. I'm concerned of what their Islam is going to look like 20 years from now. And at the state it's going, if it continues in such a decline, they won't have one. They won't have one. They won't have one. I know Imams. I'm a well-known Imam. I know many Black Imams who have the same condition. This is a serious issue. This is a serious issue. I won't put his name out there because I love him. I know one of the famous African-American Black Imams told me something. And my kufi off to him. I love him. He said something to me, and I never forget it. He said, we have a crisis, Imam. Even me, with all my decades of service, if I die right now, we're done in my masjid. Woo! Look what he said to me. After decades of service, he's a Black Imam. He said, if I die right now, we, African American, Black Muslims, are done in my masjid. That don't bother you? He said it to me. He said, we're not prepared for leadership and the others are just going to take over. Think about that. That's not me. I'm younger Imam compared to that elder Imam. That's what he said to me. Another elder Imam, and older than him, he said to me in New York City, when he was coming up, the Black Imams were well known around New York City. He said today, the Black Imams are not even authoritative at the major decision making of the masajid in New York. Let me repeat that. He said this to me. He said, when I was coming up, and I was living in New York, so I know exactly what he's talking about, the African American Black Imam was the decision maker. They were making all the stuff about Islam. He said today, the Black African Imam in New York City is not even recognized in terms of decision making. That's deep. That's a deep thing. I said extinction, right? This is the elders telling me that. I'm not making it up. So these are things we need to think about. He took the two elders, two different ones, they said the same thing. What are we going to do about that? What are we going to do to change that condition? What are we going to do? And for some of us, We on our own mission, and I got that. We got our own mission, and may Allah make it easy for you. But some of us got to realize the work we're up against. We got to realize what we're up against and what it takes to overcome the obstacles that are being put in front of us, what we need to do. But we can do it. We are a mighty people. We are a powerful people. But we have to do for ourselves. We have to learn that it isn't. We're in the emergency room, critical care, ICU, and we need the best physicians to help us get out of this situation. And some of us have gathered and we've benefited. I'm saying let's do our part. I need your help. I do. Because I don't know how long myself and Imams like me are going to live. Allahu A'lam. I don't know. But what I do know is while we're alive, we have a lot of work to do. We can't afford to do anything else. We have to dedicate all our time to training the next generation. And we can't do it alone, no matter how good we think we are. We cannot do it alone. We cannot. I don't care how good of Imam, how smart you think you are, you can't do it by yourself. You can't. You don't even have the time or the physical capacity to do it by yourself. You can't. You need help. You need help. So I implore you to help me, help us. We have a lot of work to do, and we need each other. With that, I'll bring this to a close. I remind you tonight, Sheikh Ihyaa, his 7 hadith class. Barakallahu bikum wa jazakum Allahu khaira. May Allah reward you all. Sister Rabia, arrange it, we'll come. You said you needed to come, the Black Imams to come. We'll come, arrange it, set it up, we're there. That's what we're raising money for. We'll come. So you arrange it. You can send details to info at mmacinc.org. Right? Send your contact, send your phone number, send how we can do it. And we got money, so we don't have to, even if sometimes you don't have a place, we can learn about renting a place. We have money. We built together. We work. No one's taking your money. So the money y'all give, it's not going to no end. We nowhere near that. So the imam is getting a salary from that. We're not there. We have too much work to do. We're nowhere near that. We need every penny to do the work. The imams have to put in money. That's where we at, unfortunately. But that's where we at. Maybe one day we won't be there. But right now, all hands on deck. Everybody got to put in money. Everybody got to sacrifice. So we do have money to do those things. So the money you give, don't think it's wasted. We don't waste no money. We can't afford to waste money, right? We can't. We're serious about what we're doing. I hope you don't think I get up every morning and come online and teach and work with you because I don't have nothing else to do. I hope no one believes that, right? That's not real, right? No, we got a bunch of other things I could be doing, but this is important. It's extremely important. It's essential for our survival. And it ain't enough of us doing it. We need more, right? Because no one person or two people or three people can fulfill all our needs, right? We need stuff. I remember I have the flyer. I lost it. I'm sorry. I didn't lose the flyer. I just don't know how to put it up. But for those, let me find it real quick. I told you the Black Imams Roundtable would be in Philadelphia, the Imams from the Black, and the address, and I'll try to put the flyer up tomorrow, is November 27th. Let me put it real quick. Saturday, November 27, 2021. From 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And the address is 1201 South 23rd Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Just so you know. Because people asked me about that yesterday. They did send me a flyer. So that's the address. That's the date for and the title is Exploring Aqidah and the Methodology of the Salaf. So for those who asked for that, that's going to be in Philadelphia on the 27th. That's in South Philly. When's the 27th? 2 weeks from now? Yeah. Next Saturday. Will you be streaming? Usually Imam Naeem does it. I won't be, but if they are doing it, someone else usually does it. But inshallah, maybe not. I don't know what Imam Naeem's schedule is. I don't walk around with a videographer. Right? I'm totally illiterate when it comes to this video and stuff, and I don't know how to do this stuff. So if somebody's not doing it, I'm not. Tayyib, may Allah reward all of you. Thank you for your participation, and I hope Allah gives you all success. We have a lot of work to do. I'm in it. Inshallah, to death do us part. I'm in it. I'm down. Whatever time Allah gives me left of my life, I pray that I can dedicate it to this work. Right? And I pray that Allah gives me success, that my children will fill in the shoes after me. And the same for you, that your children will fill in your shoes, and grandchildren, and next, that got to be our thoughts. That Imam Amin is dead, but we have Alawi, we have Aidurus, and they learned well. We laid out the things for them, and the next group, and the next group, and the next group. That's a whole nother world, Akil. That's a whole nother world. And I agree with you 100%. That is a whole nother world. 100% I agree with you. No doubt. That's a whole nother world. Y'all need it more than we do, to be honest. And what I mean by that is because y'all going through, the Latino community, Islamically, is going through now what the Black community already went through. You're at the beginning stages of what destroyed us. That's deep. The Latino community is at the beginning stages of that which destroyed the Black community in Islam. I don't know if that flew over somebody's head, but I'm telling you, the Latino community, there's an all-out assault in the Latino community that's going to hit y'all 50 years from now that y'all don't even realize it. Because a lot of y'all are just getting Islam in your communities. And you're getting a version that destroyed the Black community. So you're going to go, if there is not quick help to y'all going to go what we went through, and y'all going to be 50 years down the line after we got ourselves together, and we're going to be looking at y'all like, hey, what the heck? So I think there needs to be some parallel work with the Black community and the Latino community, because y'all going to suffer the same thing. And it's happening. Y'all have a big Wahhabi problem in the Latino community, a huge Wahhabi problem. So I agree with you. With that being said, I don't know if I just made somebody angry. That wasn't my intention. It wasn't my intention. But la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Oh, you good? But then you should know, it ain't many of y'all there. You know what I'm talking about. You're fortunate. But man, it is what it is. We got work to do. We have a lot of work. Ain't nobody trying to do this work. Trust me. This is our field. People don't even want to be bothered with us, man. Seriously. They don't even want to be bothered at all. La ilaha illallah. Ain't nobody trying to get their hands dirty. Nah, we ain't doing that. But we have to do it. Even if no one else does it, we have to get our hands dirty. We don't have no choice. So everyone else can be nice and comfortable in their suburban comfort, in big houses and lavish gatherings. But some of us got to go get dirty. Some of us have to go get dirty. Not all of us can sit in comfort and enjoy. Some of us have to go get dirty. That's real. Some of us got to get dirty. طيب, may Allah reward y'all. Barakallahu bikum. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.